Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do the usual disclaimers. As those of you know who are come up to my channel already, NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, is being threatened with a defamation lawsuit by the Judge Rotenberg Center for an article they wrote in 2021 where they surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the quote-unquote so-called behavior treatment program at the JRC. They want them silenced, folks. So we have a link to that article as well as NeuroClastic's public statement on the matter right there in the description box. We also got the crowdfunding link right down at the very bottom of the description box in order to assist NeuroClastic with any legal fees they might have should the JRC decide to see through their threat. So if you got anything, folks, please give what you can. The JRC has been trying silencing and bullying tactics for as long as I've remembered that I've been a part of the Stop the Shocks movement. So please, any assistance that you can give would be deeply appreciated. They never go after the big corporations like NBC, ABC, and all those who have reported on it before. They always come after us. They want to silence us. So please send help. All right. We also have the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we talk about the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? It is 4:49 a.m. in the morning. No, I'm not even close to being awake. So if I stumble over my words, as usual in the morning, apologies in advance, all right? So we're going back to where we left off yesterday morning. The June report states that the FDA recommended warnings on the GED device include statements that the device is to be used only by or under direct supervision of an appropriately licensed professional. Well, yeah, isn't that in your own handbook? The final label that was agreed upon with the FDA states directly from the device label, the GED should be used by or under direct supervision of an authorized professional as part of an overall therapy program. JRC follows this. A clinician directly supervises each student's program. Do they? So here's my question, JRC. If a clinician is approving all applications of the GED and it has to be approved every single time, why the fuck do the monitors constantly call the teachers, and if they're not shocking them, they get in trouble? Wouldn't the correct procedure, if this is a good and proper treatment, which it isn't, but let's play devil's advocate here for 5 seconds. God, it makes me feel gross. Let's play devil's advocate for a minute. Say this is true and accurate. Say they have to get the clinician's approval for every time. Why is it not being followed? And if you want to know what I mean, JRC, according to this, someone has to be, like, when we're talking direct supervision, we mean like direct supervision in the most literal sense of the word that I can possibly conjure for you. Means the person is right next to the person getting ready to use the device. You know what I mean? You all like to create far too many blurry areas for your staff, in which they often, more often than not, will then go into abuse of fucking power. But then again, that's your whole goddamn mantra, isn't it? Isn't it? But again, if a clinician has to approve, if you have to be under direct supervision, then what the hell here is going on? Seriously. Now, let's stop playing devil's advocate for a few minutes. Basically, what you are stating here is that it's a part of an overall therapy program. So you are intentionally blurring those lines. You are blurring those lines. You are trying to make the label sound like it's saying one thing when it's actually quite explicit. But isn't that just your MO, though? Moving on. The June report claims that the NYSED reviewers were told that staff working one-on-one with a GED student do not need to complete the two-person pre-verification procedure to give student a GED application. This is another misunderstanding. Really? Do tell. First, the verification procedure is not a required procedure. You just said, fuck me. So on one hand, we are obeying the law. Then the next immediate sentence after it, but we're not obeying the law. But they get away with it. It is used as a redundant check to be sure that students are receiving applications only required by their treatment plans as decided by their assigned clinician. So it's okay then to shock somebody for refusing to remove their coat or stopping work for more than 3 seconds. Okay, JRC, that sounds like a sound medical clinician to me. Remind me never to move Massachusetts in my life ever. JRC has the option of removing this redundant check whenever it is not necessary or when a student's treatment would benefit from a change. In other words, what the JRC is saying here is that they are above the law. So, if the FDA tells them to do something with a label, we all read that right above there. If the JRC does not agree with it, if they think it's not necessary, then they believe they have the right to not obey the law and adjust it as basically to do whatever the fuck they want. And they get away with it. They've been getting away with it for over 30 goddamn years. These people have far too much goddamn power. They have absolute power over their students. Abso-fucking-lute. And they keep getting away with it, and they are still open. Moving on. JRC explained to the NYSED visitors that two-person verification procedure is required for most applications for the GED. However, when a student has his or her own one-on-one staff member assigned to his or her, the two-person verification procedure is not employed because that one-on-one staff member is versed on that particular student, who's the only student he or her is looking after. We're not going to provide any supervision. We don't care if they're shocking them more than what their behavior sheet says. We don't fucking care. That's what that says to me. If you actually gave a damn about the safety of the students, you would make goddamn sure that whoever's using that device doesn't abuse it. But we're talking about the JRC here. This GED should not be in use in fucking first place. But, you can't... Woo! More psycho bullshit. It's like... special word salad. It was when an incoming one-on-one staff member starts his shift with a student that he or she is watching, he is given a reminder briefing by outgoing one-on-one staff member as to what behaviors are being treated with the GED for that student. This reminder briefing is called the pre-verification. It is that the NYSED reviewers saw and misunderstood. Really? I think they understood it exactly. I think they understood exactly what was going on. They incorrectly assumed that the brief interaction, the pre-verification, was the only training that the one-on-one person coming on duty ever received in the use of the GED. Yeah, I'm going to agree with New York. Sorry. This mistake could have been avoided if NYSED visitors had communicated their questions and concerns to the JRC staff. They did not. Because they don't want to listen to your fucking lies. You have been lying for over 30 years. You have withheld paperwork from police investigations into your shit. Your creator, Matthew Israel, got his hand caught in the cookie drawer when he was caught ordering staff to destroy video evidence of what goes on in that fucking school. You have to excuse the shit out of New York if they're not going to be asking you questions when they know all you're going to do is give them a word salad bullshit answer. You're seeing a lot of bullshit here. And if this word salad looks familiar to those of my followers who came onto this channel for the JD versus AH, that's because it is. It's the same bullshit her professionals have pulled. You don't understand. And you have to come to us and talk to us, and we'll educate you as to why torturing people is necessary. Yeah. And on that note, I'm going to close out for this morning, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.